Hey, everybody, this is Richard Pickett and Matt Crump. We are doing our first ever, and probably even for everybody, live or joint live stream. That is, we're streaming to my social media as well as Matt Crump's, and we plan on just having a lot of fun tonight. But on the agenda, we'll also talk about things like goals, getting stuff done, what we both do. We'll take questions. As a matter of fact, if you want to join the show live with us, so you can see two of us here, if you want to be the third person or fourth or fifth, you can see the URL at the bottom of the screen, rpurls.com/live-guest, and you can come on. Of course, wherever this is streaming, you can always just add your comments, and we will be happy to take them live. Alrighty.
Here we
Can
are.
you hear me, Matt? I don't know if Matt, are you there? Uh-oh, he froze up. I sure hope I'm going. Okay, it looks like my stream is actually good. I think Matt just locked up for a second. I'm hoping he'll be back in just a minute. In the meantime, I'm going to, we did have a little, there we go. We had a little problem earlier trying to get all the streams connected. And we had the graphic in LinkedIn, don't cross the streams, evidently, we got penalized for that because it didn't work right in the very beginning and we had to scramble there at the last minute. I apologize if we kept you waiting. All right. Nope, I still don't see Matt. Hey, okay, so Shell is on. She's saying, hey, love you both. That's awesome. Let me know if you can still hear me like right now. It looks like Matt's disconnected. I'm still seeing the stream going well, but for whatever reason, he is totally froze up. And Ken Pringle, old buddy of mine from about 10 years ago, said that he can hear us loud and clear. Yep, Matt actually dropped off. Okay, here he is. You're back.
Yeah, it all crashed out and I came back. So
yeah, I don't know what happened there.
Enjoy it live.
You can't blame that one on me. You can blame the streaming problem, but not that one.
All right. Your connection is gone and re-enter and start. And I feel like I've done this a few times already now. We should be good.
All righty. Well, we're already getting some comments. Okay, Shell says she can hear us. While you were gone, Shell Shapiro said, hey, love you both. Oh, cool. And Ken Pringle, a personal friend of mine from business about 10 years ago, said he can hear us loud and clear. Shell also says she can hear us. So it looks like we are all set. Now I just need to pull up the questions I usually ask. So for those of you that are watching, we were scrambling so last minute to try to get this to work. And then, of course, naturally, that means it's not going to work when you press go live. That's what we found out. All right.
My feed on LinkedIn is working anymore.
It is or it is not?
Looks like it's not.
Let me hop over.
It says the media could not be loaded because the server network failed.
Oh, that's really weird.
Format is not supported. That's not cool.
Yeah, what's really weird is it says that it's online. Let me see if I can view the event. And it's now pulling up your LinkedIn. Oh, no, we're on. Maybe you went to the first one. You went to the first one where it didn't work. No, we're definitely on. John Russ says it keeps locking up. Wolfgang Senior says lost connection. So I think those guys have now come back.
Okay. Are you still there, guys? We'll find out in a second.
Awesome. Alrighty. Let's try to proceed because I'm pretty sure it is working.
Yeah. Hey, everybody. We're just going to try to wing this one on the front side, try to get everybody in and see how it goes. We'll have some fun. It's the joy of live.
All right. So usually in the very beginning, for those of you that have watched several of my interviews, you know that I try to ask a couple bullet questions right up front so you get to know who I'm on with. So in this one, you already know it's Matt Crump. So Matt, tell everyone who you are, what you do, and why will the people who are watching want to get to know you?
The beard. I mean, come on. Man, well, it's a blast to be here, and I'm so happy to be with Richard. We've had some fun talking about getting here today, and For those that follow me on social media, on the channels, hopefully that we're connected to on that side, they already know who I am. But I've been battling cancer for several years, and that's one of the things that really kind of got me into where I'm going. And it really helped me to find about life obstacles from a different perspective. And I was able to kind of move everything in my life to a different direction. And now my focus is helping people to achieve their #1 goals, just be able to overcome life obstacles, and be able to not just have dreams, but have dreams become reality, right? So it's one of those things where we have goals become something they can actually do, something tangible. So that's the kind of short story from the long story. But
awesome.
Yeah.
So what's the most impressive thing that your clients say about you when they're bragging about you behind your back? What do they say?
I was thinking everybody says that I'm extremely inspirational and motivational. That's probably the top comments I hear.
And I would agree with that. For the amount of time that I've known you, it's definitely true.
Yeah.
With your story, it's amazing that you're so high energy. So let's see how long we can keep that high energy going tonight.
You'll find out for sure tonight. It's almost bedtime.
All right. So, Matt, what's the surprisingly easiest thing for you that other people typically find difficult?
I would say, well, I'm an extreme extrovert, so creating content and be able to reach people, that just comes so. I love people. I'm a people person, so I love to be able just to reach out and do things. Where some folks, my wife's a high introvert, there's just no way she would do what I do, and I just do it every day. I like to make videos and talk and do whatever I can. So I think it would be just engagement with people.
Okay. What part of growing your personal brand into a business have you found to be the hardest thing?
Oddly enough, that I'm a communicating guy and an engaging guy is actually being able to get great engagement with people, to get people to convert from what I'm trying to do on all the social media platforms, business-wise, right? So from a perspective of moolah, yeah, that's the hardest part.
So converting prospects into customers.
That's right.
Okay. Yeah, which is a common thing. We can definitely talk about that. You and I have personally talked about that on the back end, but we can discuss some of that on the show as well. All right, who are some people that are outside of your business that you think would be excited to be on the show next?
Outside of my business to be on this show, I think that Russ Johns would be fantastic to be on the show.
Awesome.
Yeah, I think Russ would be great. He's on LinkedIn out there. A new gal I met recently that I'm having a good time with, and far as helping her to find out who she is and what she's trying to do in her business. Her name's Armel 6, and her new brand logo is A6. So she's really awesome. I think she'd be a great person to be on the show. A fellow that I met today, not today, I met him a couple of days ago, and he has an incredible brand, and his whole focus is about kindness. He's the kindness man. And his name's Randy McNeely, and he's an extremely intelligent man. He's been around a lot of things in business and the world, but now he has a chance to actually brand himself and move into a different direction just doing this, and it would be fantastic for him to be on a show like this.
Very cool. So I think some of those we've actually discussed, so it'll be really cool to meet him.
Yeah.
What's the biggest problem you love to solve for other people?
It's a good question. I tend to have a gift to be able to see into that, folks. That is moonshine, by the way. I just want to let y'all know. No,
I am in Tennessee, but this is not moonshine. Trust me, it's just clear water.
He's going to start laughing and having a good time here in just a minute, y'all. It's going to be good. I think I have the ability to see into some people's problems and find some solutions for them that they didn't see.
Okay, cool.
Most of the time. Doesn't always work out.
All right, tell us one errata, one off the wall, obscure, rarely known fact about you. Like, so for those that don't know, Matt has cancer tumor. What's the correct term?
Yeah, I've got stage 4 cancer. Had multiple, down to the other brain tumor. Had that one. Yeah. So yeah, there's several things. Just tell you what.
But not that, because that's commonly known. You have to pick something else. I'm excluding that one.
Yeah, the cancer's out of the way. something crazy, something wild. People would think that's all about me. I'm a wild child. Well, most people on LinkedIn don't know that I used to have a singing career, that I was a signed recording artist. I used to travel all around the world and sing.
Wow.
Yeah.
And you do sing now still, because
I still do.
Yeah, you put out a song on LinkedIn a couple weeks ago. You'd recorded it a couple years back, but
yeah, I shared
that was
one on LinkedIn. I just haven't really done it on the regular on LinkedIn, but I was trying to do some different things here on LinkedIn. But yep, been there, done that. So I'll probably start sharing more of those songs here in 2020.
awesome. So I'm going to go through some of the comments. If you want to see if you can pull up LinkedIn, for those of you that are watching, with the way streaming works, LinkedIn is not integrated comment-wise. You actually have to go to the LinkedIn video to read it. So let me put some of these. So Shell, do you want me to put the one about his mustache for everybody to see? I'm not too sure.
Does it bother somebody?
Well, she's here. I'll just show it. She said, while your face was frozen, she wanted to play with your mustache.
Yeah.
Actually, he was telling me he would have to straighten it before we came on the show tonight.
That's right. That looks better. It's good. It just depends.
All right.
All these problems with my hair now. It's crazy.
So Grace Bassey says she can hear us loud and clear. Richie, I'm probably gonna butcher your name. I'm guessing it's Richie Acevedo or Acevedo. I'm not really sure on the pronunciation. I apologize if I got it wrong. But
where's he coming from? Where's Richie from?
He's actually local. I believe he's here in Nashville.
Oh, gotcha. He's on one of your feeds there?
Yeah. Daniel Rima, Grace Bassey again. Shell says, Shell wants to know, hasn't every guest mentioned something about kindness? And yeah, totally, I think, which is good to hear, because our world needs people that are intentional on kindness. That's is so powerful. Even guys like Gary Vee is talking about, it's be kind. When people do you wrong, when you get wronged in business, just treat everybody with kindness. It doesn't mean that you're stupid or that you let people take advantage of you or whatever, but you can still be kind to people, even if they're treating you wrong and you're acting with wisdom, you can still be kind. So absolutely, it's definitely needed in today's world.
We didn't tell everybody, by the way, I think you did, but tonight we're going to be talking about goals and marketing, right?
Yeah, I said that on the intro, I think, while maybe you were bouncing back in.
They got questions specific because people are jumping in after that, so they might not know that they can ask questions about that.
Okay, yeah. So tonight's focus is focus and achieving goals. I think in the flyer we talked about New Year's resolutions, and I'll tell you why I start in June. And this year, by the way, I don't actually have a New Year's resolution. I'm doing something completely different, but I start mine in June. We can talk about that. Grace says, blessings, Matt. I'm a cancer survivor too. So that's really cool.
That's good news.
And she is from New York.
All right.
All right. So are you able to get to the LinkedIn?
Yeah, I've got a few folks, a couple of things on the front side. When John was trying to watch, it was locking up Wolfgang. Burundi, he's a friend of mine, and he is Burundi, I forget where it's towards. I don't want to even say India because that's horrible. I think I know where he's at. It's another country, not America. He says hello. He's a good guy. And then I have Gabriel Leal is jumping in to say hello tonight. Hey, Gabe. Miriam Mavrakis says hello. Horrible with names. I'm bad. I had brain tumor, right? So if it's the surgery I blame. And she's from mental health. I think I need you, Miriam. That's what we got so far over on LinkedIn. People are just chiming in right now for no questions yet.
Okay, cool. So let's talk about Matt, what are some of the things that you find important with achieving goals? I remember you made a post. It's been about a week now on LinkedIn. Actually, it wasn't a post. My bad. It was an article.
Right.
Yep. So talk to us about goals and achieving goals.
Yeah, I think obviously the biggest thing that most people would understand is that a goal, well, first it starts off with dreams and ideas. dreams and ideas are plentiful in our brains for most people, but that has nothing to do with goals. It's just where things start. Even having a goal isn't anything unless you have some action plans, some steps to be able to make it happen. So if you have an idea that you want to turn into a goal, then what are some steps? Let's say you want to be a person that says, I want to be somebody that has $100,000 a year. I had somebody tell me this week that they want to be a person that can go to 100K this year. And they don't make hardly anything right now, but they want 100K by the end of the year. I said, that's awesome. That's freaking cool. What a goal. What are you going to do to get that? So you have to have some steps. And the biggest thing about goals, a lot of times where people fail, is they want to shoot for the 100K. And if it doesn't happen in 6 weeks, they give up because it's not going to work. And that's because you took too big of a bite. You can't take the whole thing at one time. The important thing about goals is taking many steps, many goals, setting up some stuff to where you can get there. The example I made in the article this week was, let's say you have a goal of losing 24 pounds this year. So if you want to lose 24 pounds this year, you don't just start eating carrots and drinking water, and 3 days later step on the scale and it's like, golly, I can't believe I didn't lose 24 pounds, right? It just doesn't happen that way. But if you have a mini goal set up to focus on losing 2 pounds a month, well, then things can change a whole lot differently, so much so that you might actually lose more than 24 pounds that year. So it's a matter of setting up mini goals that can get great benchmarks to hit the main goal that you want to achieve, so that it's not just a goal anymore. It's something that's actually been done. It's now an action.
Awesome. What are some of the personal goals that you've achieved in your life that before you got started, you didn't think you would actually be able to do that?
Never thought I would travel the world. I have. I've been able to travel the world, singing, speaking. That was a pretty big deal for me. I've always felt called to do that. I just didn't know what the vehicle would be. And it was always I felt huge on the inside. Another thing for me, I think that was a really big goal, was to write a book. And I never thought that it would actually happen. I've just been, had so many things going on in life. I didn't think it would be something I would really do. And I was approached by somebody who helped me and mentored me through the process. And now I'm published. My book came out earlier this year. Here it is. Got the book out now. And it's available all around the world. I never thought that would happen. And I'm super excited that it did. So those are a couple of big goals.
Awesome.
Oh, one more. I finished my 1938 Studebaker State Commander. I bought a car that was just a shell of a car. It's one shell of a car. I got it from somebody that was been laying in a field for like 40 years. My wife says, why are we doing this? And I said, because I know. I mean, in my mind, I see the whole car done. She sees a piece of junk. So I said, no. I brought it home, bought all the boxes, all the parts, sat there for years. And the benefit of having cancer is my wife felt so bad for me. She said, you want to finish the car? I said, well, honey, if that's what you really want to do, we can. We finished the car. It looks freaking amazing. Everybody loves it. So it was a great goal to get it done. And it's one of the prettiest cars you've ever seen.
Awesome. Hey, so Shell Shapiro picked up on that. She said, it's a shell and you made the shell better, because she uses wordplay on shell and getting shell shocked and getting out of your shell.
Oh, so, she needs to contact me. We'll talk about it. I've got a whole bunch of neat things for the car. That'd be a neat thing for her.
Very cool. All right. Again, I can't see LinkedIn.
Yeah, I'm checking back in now, trying to refresh. It's running slower here on the laptop. Oops. I don't know if my Facebook is live or not.
Oh, because we couldn't add it in.
Oh, we're only just doing it.
Yeah, because the last minute
our
scramble
change was we're just
oh my goodness.
You're doing your Facebook and I'm doing my LinkedIn. Is that what it is?
Yes, basically.
Okay.
Yep.
Oh, I just saw it's a shell and you made the shell better.
Yep.
It's a delay. Here you go.
Oh, cool. Oh yeah, because I put it up on the screen.
Yeah.
All right. So Matt had mentioned earlier that one of the things that he finds difficult is converting prospects into actual customers, and I see this a lot in personal brand marketing, especially. And I think it's because we actually don't want to be salespeople,
Right.
and we don't know how to take people through a conversion process from just being a prospect to being a customer. Because we don't want to be pushy, we don't want to be salesy, especially too if you're a very helpful person. So there's a book on giving. I can't remember the title. I probably need to look this one up, but it talks about how there are three people in the world: givers, takers, and the people in the middle that like keep score and want to give back exactly what they get, or if they give, they want to get back exactly what they gave. And so people that are givers typically will overextend themselves and be too helpful, to the point that we end up suffering, and it's to our detriment. And because we're giving, we don't know where to like draw a healthy boundary or healthy line to say, now that we know each other, like if you need my help, this is what that's going to look like. Because if I do nothing but help everybody all my life, then and never make any money, then like how do I actually take care of my own family, feed my kids, et cetera? So there has to be a healthy boundary, and this is something I see frequently. I think with Matt, we talked about a really soft pitch where you're talking to them on the phone, and you almost let them lead into it, and guide them into a conversion process. But typically, of course, this works in different ways. But one of the ways that I'm going to talk about, that I use a lot myself, is a phone call. And I'll usually start that phone call when I'm first talking to someone. I'll just say, hey, through this call, we're going to find out what things you're focused on, and if there's a way that I can help you. I'll try to give you all the advice I can and help you come up with a plan that I think you can execute. And if by the end we both think that we could work together, if it's okay with you, I would like to talk about what that looks like, because I have clients, and we could set up a long-term engagement. By me saying it that way, I haven't told them, I didn't use big scary words like you're going to pay me a lot of money, or I'm going to hard pitch you. And I really think which they'll typically agree. Like I've never had anybody say, nope, let's get off the phone. I have had people that would say right off the bat, well, I don't have any money. And I still talk to them. But I think once you get that agreement from them, the rest of the conversation until the very end, like I just give. I want to I ask questions. I like, who's that guy? Keenan. I've mentioned Keenan quite a bit. I love his gap selling, where you get people to see that they're way, way over there and they want to come right here. If they can envision that you're the person to help them, then that's great. So I like that. But at the same time, like I try to give them solutions so that even if we hang up the phone, if they took notes and they can go execute these things themselves, they got all the secrets. Yeah. I told them everything they needed to go do if I were in their shoes. And it's typically not like go pay somebody a lot of money to, or like pay me a lot of money and then I'll do this work for you. I don't do that. I try to enable and empower them to go do it. Now at the end of the phone call, the way I usually do it is I say, so we've talked for a while. I think I gave you an actionable plan. Do you think this is something you can do or not? What are the hurdles? What are things that you would find difficult? If they bring up some points, we talk through those until I come back to, okay, so now you feel like you got a plan that you can go execute on. If I really think I can help them, then we proceed. If I don't think I can help them with that, I just say, I'm not sure I'm the right person. I try to make recommendations. Because again, I just want to give them really good service, and then I'm happy to get off the phone. But if I think I can really help them, and I feel like we kind of clicked, and that we could work well together, then I'll say, if they agree that they think they can, take action on this plan, I'll say, so what does this look like for you moving forward? What would you like to do? Would you like to see if we could work together? If they say yes, then I just say, okay, so I used to have 3 types of clients, and now I just have 2. Originally, I had clients that I would only talk to once a month, but I didn't feel like I got a lot of progress with them. We would talk as frequently as they could get things done, and some people are just too busy. They got a life, they got they got a job, they've got a family, they got kids, they got too many things going on. And talking once a month was about all they could do. But I felt like for those people, because we only talk about once a month, we don't make as much progress, and most of them didn't make any progress. So I ended up getting rid of client, that level of client, because I just couldn't help them make progress. So now I have two types of clients: those that I talk to once a week, and those that I talk to every other week. And the price is obviously half. In the call, I discuss what the prices are. I just tell them, the ones that I talk to every week, this is how much they pay. The ones that I talk to every other week, that they obviously pay half.
You're not a fan of scarcity.
Yeah. So there are things for scarcity. So for example, I'm currently doing a program that's going to have scarcity built in, but it's not a tactic. I absolutely hate sales tactics. Like, there are only 10 copies of this and it's an ebook you can download. Really? I don't know how that works, but so I am doing a group, and I've discussed it with Matt, where I'm going to be on the phone, hand holding practically people in setting up a sales funnel process with a close like this at the end, so that they can drive a lot of engagement and get serious clients. Because it's going to be so hands-on in the beginning, there's no way that I can scale, I think, probably past 10 people. So I do believe if this scarcity is legitimate, yes. But people that just make up scarcity to make up scarcity, I can't go for that. I have seen another form that's false scarcity, but at the same time, it's kind of legitimate. There's one marketer I've seen, he sets up they do one type of course a month. So he has like 6 different things that they do, or maybe 4 different things that they do, and they do them in block chunks. He's like, hey, everybody who wants to sign up for this class, we're doing this thing for this month. And then if that's the class you want, and that class is over, then you get on a waiting list. So it's kind of a false, but it's still legitimate.
Right.
Scarcity. But I can't stand fake scarcity.
No, I can't either. It drives me nuts.
So what drives the question? Any backstory on that?
Which question? My question?
Yes, on the scarcity. Yep.
Just something I've been thinking about. I mean, a lot of people do it. I've been in the marketing world for many years, and when I was going through transitioning from pastor over here to where I'm at now, I went through about 10 different courses, and 8 of the 10 were all false scarcity stuff. And you have to do this. If you don't do this now, it's gone forever. And then like 3 days later, I get an email saying, hey, we got this program and blah, blah, blah. And it's the same thing. It's like,
same program.
Yeah, you're so dumb, people. Take me off your mailing list if you don't think you need to do that. But it just angers me. But there's a lot of people that do it. And there's a lot of people that, the reason I'm bringing it up is there's a lot of people that teach it. And certain people buy into, they drink the Kool-Aid. They think, well, I guess if that's the way it works for so-and-so, I got to do the same thing. You don't have to do that. It doesn't require scarcity. People love authenticity.
Right.
Even now as a coach, I was wrestling with telling prices, and now I just do. I mean, why hide it? I mean, we're going to have to talk about it at one point or the other, because people talk about, you want to build value before you spring the price tag on people. And sometimes there's reasons for that. There's no doubt. But, if we're in a relationship with somebody, if I want you to be my client for what I do, we're going to have a relationship. So why would I want to start off with something that's kind of, cheesy and not really authentic? So yeah, it's not really cool to go and stuff those areas. And my point is, you don't have to at all.
Right. Another thing that I've seen, especially in the personal brand space, that makes where people have the same thing, Matt, that you mentioned about, it's difficult to convert prospects into clients, is because in social media makes it so easy. There's this idea that I can just produce a lot of content and just do videos every day. Like, I'm trying to get in on the video game too. Like I'm doing it, like we're doing this live, etc. But people think I could just create a bunch of content, and it's kind of like the build it and they'll come theory, that I'll just make a lot of content and automatically I'm going to have my phone ringing and people will want to pay me money.
Somebody that thinks that, and it works, but he's got a lot of money to spend too. But Well,
Yeah.
Gary V, he thinks he wants to own the internet, and that's amazing. Music coming somewhere.
Oh yeah. So can you guys hear the harp music?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I told my daughter it was okay if she played.
Oh, cool.
She's currently practicing.
Does she play a harp?
Yes.
Does she play a full scale harp?
Yes.
It's in your home.
It's in our home.
Or you have to take it with you to go to places. That's fun.
Oh my goodness, and it's so big too, right?
It's on a music store, I told you, right? So good Lord. Those things are cheap too.
Oh yeah, they're dirt cheap.
Dirt cheap.
Let me see if I can pull up a good photo to share.
Oh, that'd be awesome. There's not too many people to do that. My cousin who lives in this town with me, she actually is a harpist. And I think she's the only one in the area. So anytime somebody wants to play a harp, she's the gal.
Yeah, I think this one will work. Let me see. Can I share my screen?
She sounds good.
Yeah, she practices like all the time. Like no joke. She's practicing all the time. All right. Let me see.
What grade? How old is she?
She is 14.
Man, she could definitely get a scholarship, I'm sure.
That's her right there.
Wow. That is
so about carrying it around, we actually had to buy a van just to
do
it around. Yeah. Otherwise, we wouldn't have one.
The harp has its own van. Nothing you want to harp about. Oh, harp.
Yes, you can harp on them all day.
All day.
Alrighty. So another thing that I've seen, I'm not seeing any questions. So if we just want to continue on.
Yeah, it's our first show. We'll have to get the ball rolling.
Yeah, well, set a schedule.
Yeah.
So another thing that I've seen is people not having a systematic way of getting those conversations. So I put out a lot of content, and I really believe in having call to actions, like having people telling people, hey, if you'd like to connect, like if you want to talk about this in private, like whatever that is, like DM me, PM, like whatever that phrase is for that particular platform, but encourage people to make a connection with you. It's important. Another one is inviting people to follow along. So this is one that I practice very heavily. I invite people like to come to my email list and watch as I build a brand. Come join the Facebook group and watch as I talk to other people about building their brand, so that they're going to sit there and learn. I'm just trying to communicate the value. And then from that, I plan on getting deeper engagement. Because if all you're doing, by the way, is publishing like on LinkedIn, Instagram or whatever, Facebook, you're really at the mercy of their algorithm and the person, your ideal customer or whatever your audience's engagement time. Like when do they get on? And you may be putting out content that they really need, that they would call you and connect and ask for your help or whatever. But because the algorithm or whatever, the timing's not there, it doesn't work out. So I encourage people, build a community that you can help control the messaging around and make sure that people know what you're doing.
So Q, his name's Quentin. He travels around with Shay Rowbottom. Actually, he helped Shay get started here on LinkedIn. He had a video he put out today about community, and his point was fantastic. He said the issue with that is that it's such a misused, abused word that people come into places like LinkedIn, Facebook, and whatnot, and they think a community is, look, I got 5,000 likes or 10,000 likes or 1 million likes on my stuff, and I have a community of people that I have 1 million people that do this. That has nothing to do with community. You can have all the posts you want, you can have all the likes you want, but unless you have a place where people can gather together, be it a social media group of place where you actually have interaction, engagement with each other there specifically, or a building or a location or LinkedIn Live or something like that, that's community. Community isn't saying I've got 5,000, 10,000 likes, all that kind of stuff. That has nothing to do with it. And the benefit of that is what's the magic of what Richard's program is that you could be a person. That's the hard part. People think of people like Gary Vee, all these other people have millions of followers, and you can have like 1,000 followers and have a group of 25 people. And if those 25 people are engaged with you, you'll probably do much better with those 25 people than some other people that are really trying to crush it with 5, 10,000 people who have anything. The big difference in community and engagement, right? So there's a big deal. So don't pay attention to the numbers so much as far as, likes and follows and all that kind of stuff. It's like, who are you actually engaged? That's community. Where do you have a community?
So got to pick up a couple of comments here. Grace said that I'm sure she's talking about your voice, but I'm going to tell everybody else that it's actually about the harp. So, and Shell said they had a harpist at her sister's wedding.
Music.
Yeah. So, on that note about
the note harp, that's funny.
Noik, noik, you caught me.
I did.
Now, you caught me so well, I can't remember what it was I was going to say.
The train has missed the station, folks.
Oh yeah, was there a station? We didn't see it. Okay. So like being driven by likes. So I use the phrase, cat video. You can make a bunch of cat videos. So cute little cats, they're doing different little things, chasing lasers, falling off the couch, like, all these kinds of things we think that are just so lovely and cute. And you could build up a huge following. You got all these people that are liking and sharing your stuff, and it's just great. And then when you try to tell them that you're like a life coach, like, it's crickets. You wonder why no one connects with you. And it's because you built a follower group of cat videos, people that just want to see you for the cat videos. And this is where authenticity comes in. And it's something that I saw today. It's true. We need to be our authentic self. But, okay, so like for all of you guys that are watching right now, imagine if right now all that there was on here is I talked about being a father of someone who has a harp. It's very authentic, right? And I may even gather a following of people that want, to talk to somebody about harps, whatever. But that's not the business that I'm in. So while I'm authentic, I still need to be authentically me in my niche and not get carried away with like showing everybody everything about my life so that I can say that I'm authentic. And where authenticity comes in is like, not putting on a face, like just trying to be Mr. Polite and kind to everyone, in order to win Matt, because I heard that, he likes, nice and kind people, or like whatever, trying to be someone else in order to, get a sale or whatever, because then I always have to be this other person, and that gets very burdensome.
It's so hard. It's so hard to lie, folks. There's an old phrase I read on a book that's really old. It says, "The truth will find you out."
That would be a problem.
Like, yeah, it happens. It's so true. I want to jump on one thought process about goals, and it's something I put in my article, is that it's really difficult in the situation to accomplish a goal if you can't be able to envision yourself in the goal. So a lot of times, if it's not part of your core being, so just because you go to a webinar and somebody's doing affiliate marketing and you could sell anything on the internet, doesn't matter about the products, they've got all this stuff, warehouses and the other. If it's not part of your core values, your core person, if you can't envision yourself in the goal, quit trying to work at it to make it happen, because it's not going to. Eventually it's going to fall apart because you can't stand it. So there's nothing wrong with dreaming about the best thing you want. That's why I ask people, what's your number one goal? Because I don't want to try to work out and do a coaching program for your number 17 goal. It doesn't do anything for either of us. But if you want to go after your number one goal, right? And it doesn't have to be $1 million. In a situation like me, it could be that somebody contacts me because they know I'm still battling cancer. I'm still here. People think I'm a cancer survivor. I guess you could say I'm a cancer survivor. I'm still surviving. I still have tumors. I still have cancer. I still have to go in all the time. But the point is, people don't want to have to live there. You don't have to stay there. You can get to a place where you're supposed to be, instead of trying to find tons of different things. Get to where you're supposed to be at by doing what you really like to do. There's that harp music again.
Yeah, I hope it's not over. I hope it's not too loud.
It's not too loud. It sounds great. Sounds good.
Okay.
Yeah, so I think it's really important to understand that you have to, if it's not something that's part of your core values, not a part of who you really are, if you can't envision yourself doing it, don't. It's not worth the time. Just let it go and go after what's really important to you. That might end the thought of it. There's some people that might contact me, and their number one goal might be, I want to learn how to live a healthy life. Although, Matt, I have a terminal disease too. I'm down and out, feel horrible, but I'd like to have, maybe their number one goal is just to live healthy until they die, whenever that might be. Doesn't have to be a millionaire, doesn't have to be a content producer. What's your number one goal, right? So that's your goal, go for it.
Yep. I'm really proud of my son, if I could brag on him for just a second. Because
wait, you talk about your daughter already, talk about your son. I'm going to throw mine in here in a minute, so go ahead.
Yeah, okay. But this is definitely business related. So as parents, you're worried about how your kids are going to turn out. My son didn't do well for a while. I don't want to go into details, but our relationship is awesome. He calls me almost every day, at least 2 or 3 times a week. And he's asking me business questions because he started his own lawn care business. And he's working for other people, but he's building his own thing on the side. And sometimes he bites off more than he can chew intentionally. And then he goes and he finds workers that can help him get the job done or whatever. And so he's really entrepreneurial and has a great spirit about it. So he's calling me and, asking me about employee problems and how to bid jobs and all this kind of stuff. So it's really good conversations to have. And I think it was yesterday or the day before I saw on Facebook, he copied someone else's post or reposted, and it talked about stay focused on your dreams and what you're excited to do, and let your passion become your career. And he said, no, I'm sorry. Actually, it said, list one piece of advice that your dad told you that you found out was true. And that's what he put. He said, my dad taught me, stay true to my dreams, and that the business will grow itself. And I was like, whoa, it just, having your kids tell you that kind of stuff back is just so rewarding.
Yeah, nothing better than that. That's a blessing. He's got a good mom and dad, that's for sure.
Well, trying at least.
So we all are. Some do better than others. I'm trying my best too.
So for those of you that are watching, you can join us if you want to come on the show. There's if I can figure out how to do this.
I know, it's so weird, right?
Yeah, it's all reversed. The link is at the bottom. Just go to your browser, type in https://rp, as in my initials, urls.com/live-guest, and you can join us. Now, if you're watching the recording, obviously that's not going to work. But while we're live, if you want to come on, share the camera, ask questions directly, we would be excited and happy to have you. But then again, I know people are camera shy, and we've been getting different comments and things like that in. When's the last time you checked over LinkedIn? Are you looking it up now?
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now. Brenda said the great point. Oh, he's talking about the engagement part when I was talking about it's important to engage with people in community. When I talk about communities, not likes and not numbers, and it's about being with people and engaging. He said, great point there, my friend. It's the engagement which matters, not likes.
And Grace, too, wanted to make sure it was really clear, Matt, that it wasn't your voice that she was saying was lovely.
Grace, I'm sorry, we have to say goodbye to you tonight. I hope you have a good evening wherever you're at. God bless you.
She was saying it was the harp.
Oh, great. Whatever.
All right. My buddy Ken says, Richard and Matt, great tips and fantastic information. Ken also is the type of person that likes to build the long-term relationship in marketing. He's an intentional marketer. If I remember correctly, and again, I'm drawing from 10 years ago, he was the guy that would go get share coffee with you and build a relationship before he would ever talk to you about whatever the business thing was that he would want to discuss. So it's all about relationship marketing with him, which is awesome.
I have a question I'd like to throw out there. If people are listening to us now on the live, I would love to know what some people's number one goals are for 2020. What's your number one goal for 2020? If you can do that and put it in the chat section, I'd love to hear what those are. There's a lot of different people here. So what's your number one goal for 2020? Maybe not necessarily for your whole life, but 2020, what was your number one goal?
Yeah, while people are doing that, and it may be on a delay. I'm going to see if I can find this one email that I was reading through earlier today, that someone replied to me on my email list. Let me see if I can find it really quick. Yeah, because I got so many replies. I gotta swim through them. So, one person, Jasmine, she sent in. She said the struggles for us is we have a new brand and the service we offer is quite competitive. So that's very challenging. If you're offering something, and there's a lot of competition in there in the marketplace for it. She said what our USP is our pricing strategy. But to get people to this point, in other words, and to get people to that part of the conversation where they realize the pricing strategy is different, we need to raise our awareness. When you're new, it's especially hard to be heard in all that online noise. And this is typical, building a personal brand. There's something that's unique about you, in this case, pricing, which usually comes later in the conversation. So how do you actually go out there and make sure people know that there's something very distinct about you? And it can't just be that, like, I'm going to produce content and I'm going to throw it to the social media wind and just hope that it lands with people. You have to be very, very intentional about making your USP, the unique selling proposition you have, very clear with people. And it may even be when you talk to people or you produce your content, you just say, hey, we would love to talk to you. A lot of people are surprised to find out our pricing structure. Get on the phone with us, and we'd love to show you what's different between us and other people. Like, call that out as part of your call to action.
Yeah, that's cool. I think it's important as well for goals. I think it's important to know that you have a time limit on goals. It doesn't mean that you can never try to achieve it. It just means if your goal is to do X, Y, Z, and you've been at it for 3 years and you've got 0 results, chances are it's time to move to a different area. Try to get it something else, or find something else relative to what you want to try to accomplish. So it's important to do, because what that happens when I told you about setting mini goals instead of biting off the whole thing at one time, going after one big thing. If you want to lose 24 pounds in a year, instead of going for 24 pounds in next week, you lose 2 pounds a month. So that gives you some time limits on something to do. And it helps you to feel better about accomplishing some of those things. When you lose that 2 pounds in that 1 month, you're like, hey man, I lost the 2 pounds, feel good. I'm going the next month. And then finally you get it all done. If you get done in eight months instead of 12, you feel even better about achieving your goals. So it's really good to do it.
Hey, so let me throw up some questions onto the screen here that people are. First, Ken is saying, Richard and Matt, great tips. I think I mentioned this one earlier. Fantastic information. Matt, you may be able to tackle this one really well. Grace, and Grace, I think I was looking at your profile earlier today in some of your videos that you had made. She's a YouTuber, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, she talks about your YouTube channel there, huh?
Yep.
Is that her number 1 goal for this year?
Well, maybe you can't see it on the screen. My bad. So I put up her comment. She says, to excel in my cancer advocacy via my YouTube channel. So, Matt, with your cancer experience, what are your thoughts on building cancer advocacy using social media? Like, I'm not sure if that's something that you did or thought about or have some exposure to.
I did, and will do some more again. I need to focus on some of those areas. The difference of somebody like Grace and myself dealing with cancer is you have a really passionate area of ministry and business, really, to touch people's hearts, and it's very specific. So because it's very specific, you can speak specifically about something to someone. So when it comes down to cancer, a lot of times people think the first thing you want to go into is just talk about cancer advocacy, how you feel better, but then you don't think about the bigger picture. So the bigger picture is, what about a caregiver at home? You ever watch somebody that's going through cancer and you have caregivers at home that have to take care of the person who is sick? And then when somebody has cancer, it's not just that the person has cancer, it ends up being that the whole house everybody has to have to deal with cancer. The mom, the dad, the kids, everybody has to go through the battle together. So sometimes there's times where you can reach out to people and maybe you want to reach out to caregivers who have cancer. Maybe you want to reach out to family members who are dealing with somebody who has a terminal disease or things of those nature. So when you try to shoot from the different areas instead of just shooting for cancer itself, you're able to reach people in different areas that maybe some other people aren't. And I found that to be very effective because one, you're trying to care for people holistically, the whole being, instead of just one thing. I love it as a parent, as a father. You know, I always love when somebody tries to bless my children, somebody tries to do something nice for my kids. And when somebody tries to be nice to my kid, I really like that person. They're a nice, I want to hear what that person has to say now. So when you do things of that nature for other people, it's very, very powerful. So Grace, I would say on YouTube, you know, it'd be great if you did a series on you know, the effects of cancer on caregivers, or what's it like to be a son or a daughter when your mom or dad has cancer, you know, different things of those natures where you can really reach out to people that may not be being talked to too much from other people on those types of platforms.
So Grace was really responsive. She said yes, she is the one that I'd met earlier today and was looking through her YouTube. I watched at least one full video where she did a great interview. Grace, that was in the like a lingerie shop, if I'm remembering correctly. So you probably know which video I'm talking about. Really cool interview. And she's echoing the stuff that you were just saying. She's saying that she's doing what you had said. She agrees on caregiving, family, mental health. And she's saying, absolutely, I do that. And she said that's what she put out recently. Like this is the content she's been working on. So that's really awesome.
Oh, that's good.
Another one, Shell Shapiro. My number one intention for 2020 is to engage with more people by speaking more, having more meaningful conversations, and getting heard on more platforms as a podcast guest or event speaker. I know that this is definitely something that she's focused on. I think starting in December, she has taken courses. She's putting together her presentation and like her why and the way that she markets herself and all that. I know that she's been very intentional. As a matter of fact, she was interviewed here on my show. Has it been 2 weeks? I think we looked over her website a little, but she's been a person I've followed now for several months. So what would you say about her building her intention, Matt, of engaging with more people, being a speaker, podcast guest, et cetera, to get her message out?
All right. So practice makes perfect. That's the biggest thing to remember. All right. So there's a couple of things I'll give you. Practice makes perfect. And the second one is 3 points to remember: simple, memorable, and reproducible. All right. So anything you say has to be simple, memorable, reproducible when you're pitching a product, obviously. But when you're having an organic conversation, when it comes back to practice makes perfect, here you go. Here's your homework assignment. Go to Walmart and go start hanging around the checkout aisle, not in a creepy way. I mean, buy something, stand in the line, right? Or the grocery store or whatever, and find a way to start a conversation with someone and see what happens.
In an effort to get around to her message and engaging with them, engaging with those people on her.
It helps you to do a couple things. One, it helps you become more confident in yourself, to be able to know that you can hold a conversation with people, especially if you're an introvert. I just made you throw up in your mouth. But if you're not an introvert, it's no problem. But if you are an introvert, or even some extroverts have a hard time with some strangers once in a while. But it gives you an opportunity to really exercise your ability to speak and to be able to share things with people in conversation that would hold their interest. Like you start talking to somebody in line and they're not interested in you, you're boring. I mean, there's something, you got to find something else to talk about. So it helps you to engage with how to speak. And then as you start engaging these conversations with people, you're going to learn things about them, things about people you're standing around with and talking to. They're going to help empower you with what your message is to other people as well. So it really gives you a few different things. And at the same time, you're going to be able to provide something to other people that they might need. Whatever your niche is, there's no reason any of us can't have a conversation with somebody to help them leave feeling better than they did when they walked in. Whether you're a financial person or a marketing person or a coach or whatever the case may be, there should be something you could say to somebody that would put a smile on their face. We're back to kindness again, but it's true. And if you have those conversations, it's just like exercising. It's doing push-ups and sit-ups. But going to some place like a Walmart or a grocery store or someplace that's not probably your normal discussion starter place, it helps you to become more confident in who you are as a speaker. So when you're able to speak clearly and confidently to those people that you don't even know, it really comes across well when you're going to a place to speak, professionally on a stage or, in an interview or whatever the case may be.
So she said she does that all the time. She said she starts conversations while she waits in line. However, she says she's an introvert.
Really?
But her mom's an extrovert. She's always starting conversations, and she just learned that by watching.
See, it was an extrovert that taught you, Shell. See, that's what it comes down to. You're blessed.
She wants to know, how do you feel about having conversations in elevators?
It just depends on how long we got to go in the elevator.
Well, that's the nice thing about the elevator is if the conversation goes sideways, 30 seconds, you're gone. Like you're not stuck in a 20-minute line at Walmart, and having to now awkwardly stand next to this person.
Part of speaking and knowing your problem solving statement, your story, is to be able to have what they call in the marketing world your elevator speech. Oddly enough, that's what it's called. And elevator speech is typically going to be 2 minutes or less. That would be to be able to completely tell your entire story, your entire mission in 2 minutes or less. So that's what's called an elevator speech. So if you have your elevator speech down, you have no problem being in an elevator.
So you'll know this because you saw my 10 tips, 10 days, and you went through the why marketing, which is like basically the first 4 days. When you do that, not Pareto, Venn diagram of your why and your ideal customer's why, and then you select that area of overlap,
right?
You can have a 30-second introduction that really explains your why in a way that's like the other person says, wow, they're just like me. And it nails their why. It's like exactly why they would want to be related to you, in business or whatever. I think you can get it down to 30 seconds.
And absolutely, you have to. You have to be able to do that.
But definitely a 2 minutes is a good thing. So I want to take this one. We're kind of bouncing around. I'm almost losing my place with where we are in the comments. Because when basically what's happening for those of you that watch, we got a couple that came in the beginning when Matt asked the question, what are your goals? So I'm working my way through them. Ken Pringles, yours is next. But while we tackle one, then the people, whoever we're talking to, like Grace, or in this case, Shell, like they keep answering. So I'm trying to keep that as a part of the conversation. So I'll get back up to you in just a second, Ken. Shell had a second part that she had put, that she had several goals. So this is definitely one I can help with. But the most excited one that she set for herself is to have at least 3 speaking engagements this year. So I want to talk a little bit about execution. And I want to give you 2 things to think about execution-wise. So the first one is lagging indicators, and the second one is leading indicators. Mm-hmm. So a lagging indicator is, Shell, in your case, that you got 3 speaking engagements or 3 engagements, or how many engagements you got. That's a lagging indicator. There's the reason why we know this is a lagging indicator is there's not a dial somewhere. If I can get my hand on screen, like where does this? There's not a dial that you can just like reach up and like turn it and instantly get another engagement, and then turn it again and get, or in your case, speaking engagement. There's no dial for that. So this is a lagging indicator. It's one that you don't directly have control of. It's one that you measure your success by. You're measuring your success this year by whether or not you get 3 paid speaking engagements. But it's not one you can just like go make happen. So those are all lagging indicators. Almost every goal any business ever has is going to be a lagging indicator. They want more sales. They want more, like, fill in the blank. There's no lever or dial that they can go turn, or lever or button they can push, whatever, to make that happen. So instead, what you have to focus, you do need to record that. You need to keep track of how many speaking engagements or paid speaking engagements you get, since that's your ideal. But there's a process you can go through where you brainstorm and you think, what are the things that lead to that? Well, calling people on the phone, being a part of a speaker's, I'm going to say guild, but I know that's not the right term. Matt, maybe your brain cells are working better than mine, but speakers association. Like there'll be a local speakers association. There'll be other speakers that you've networked with that can throw you a bone. Like they're too busy to go, but they got this invite and they recommend you. So there are different things that you can go do that you can actively measure. There is a dial that you can go turn of how many calls did you make? How many people have you talked to? What did you do today to build your network? How many people did you send an invite to? Et cetera. There are definite specific things. And then what you try to do is not what you try to do. What you do is you say, I'm going to go through a cycle of maybe 2 weeks, and I'm going to try this one thing where I just call everybody in the speakers association, or I call anybody that runs events, or, whatever that is. And you just say, I'm going to do 10 calls a week or 20 calls a week, like whatever number is realistic. You go execute that, and then you measure the results you got for it. Now, some of this will be like, I'm building relationships, and you may not get a result for 6 months. So some of this may be a longer term thing, but definitely you want to tie the activity that you did with results that you get out of that, and track that separately. And over time, you figure out what's the leading indicator, what's the thing that I can actually go do that I know has the best bang for the buck result that changes that lagging indicator. And I'll give you an example, a story that totally blew me away when I heard about it. I can't remember the store. Maybe it was Dillard's or Macy's. One of them, or Nordstrom, somebody. They were wanting to sell more shoes. And so they all got around and they brainstormed, the lagging indicator is more shoe sales. So they all got around and they were brainstorming, like, what can we actually do in this department to sell more shoes? And they asked the obvious question, which one of our salesmen sells the most shoes? And they had this new kid that he had only been working there, I don't know, 6 months or whatever. And so didn't know anything about sales, but he was like outselling everybody on shoes. He had never sold anything in his life. So they observed him and realized that when a woman came and she said, hey, I need, size 7, beige, like whatever, go get this for me, and would show the shoe, he didn't just bring that one box of shoes out. He would bring like 4, and he'd say, okay, so I got this beige one, but you probably also need a red to match some of your other outfits. And then, if you like this style beige, you probably like this other style that's also really cool and comfortable, and I think would go great with the clothes that you're wearing and your handbag. This one will accessorize. So like he brings out 4 other sets of shoes. So it's an easy way or a natural way of upselling. And then naturally the women will take 2, 3, sometimes even all 4 shoes or whatever, and so his sales went up. And so all they did was when they realized this is how it worked, they couldn't turn the gauge and get more sales, but what they did was they made a rule that when someone comes and they want a pair of shoes, you always bring 4 pairs of shoes out to them, of different assortments, etc., including naturally the one that they asked for. And instantly, like, sales went through the roof. So figure out what you got your lagging indicator. What are the leading indicator things? And then just measure them. How many of those did I do today? How many calls did I make today? And make sure you're moving that needle. And does that effectively get you closer to the goal that you're trying to achieve?
Yeah, no, it's good stuff. I did that kind of like that with my music store. One of the top selling products we had were guitars. We sold everything. But in the world of guitars, you have stuff that starts at $100, and I have guitars in there that were $5,000, $6,000, $7,000. So somebody coming in for a $100 guitar, I would tell my employees, when somebody comes in, you don't just go grab a $7,000 guitar and slap it in their hands. When they come in for a $100 guitar, you're never going to sell a $7,000 guitar to that person. But never say never. Sometimes that could happen. But the point is that I always look for opportunities for people to experience a few things. One, I never wanted to sell anything to anybody. I wanted to match somebody up with what they came for. So when somebody walks into some place like a music store like I owned, nobody just walks into a music store because they just say, I'm just going to go browse a music store today. Most people come in a music store because they have something they're wanting to purchase, right? It's not a destination location most of the times, unless you've got some reason to go there. So when they come in, you already know they're there for something. You got to find out what. And the next thing is not to sell them something, because you want this person to be a repeat customer, because in the world of music, there's repairs, there's lessons, there's all kinds of things. So you want to create a relationship with people. So I said, we're always going to have a good, better, best opportunity for anybody that comes through the door. Never assume anything for any customer that comes here. And we're going to give them all the options. When they come in looking for something, you kind of evaluate who they are. Hey, how you doing? You know, what kind of music do you like? Kind of find out what kind of their style is. When I'm hearing what their style is, I'm thinking, okay, this person's going to want to play this kind of a guitar, because that kind of guitar isn't played in that kind of music, right? So you kind of eliminate some of those things and say, well, I guess you're probably here for XYZ kind of guitar, right? Yeah, you are. Oh, awesome, awesome. So are you a beginner? Oh, yeah, I'm just starting out. I haven't played. Or somebody will say, well, I've been playing for 10, 15 years. Or, yeah, I got 3 guitars at home. Well, you can find out what the person is and what they're kind of looking for. And then you go find the guitar, you know? So you say, well, here's something we have. And this one's $299, but you have more than one guitar. You've got couple of them there, usually 2 or 3, because good, better, best, and they're all going to be different price points. And there's been many times that our employees were able to take somebody who came in there for a $100 guitar and they walked out with a $400 guitar, only because they'd find out what the major difference is between a $100 guitar, which in the world of music is pretty much a piece of crap, and a $400 guitar, which is something you probably play for the rest of your life. And I could take the $7,000 guitar and say, here's the 400, 700. They're basically the same kind of guitar, but this one is like thousands of dollars more. Just get the $400 guitar and you're set for life. And people go that way. So it's so important to be able to share things with people authentically, knowing that you're trying to offer them what they're really looking for instead of trying to sell them something. And most of the times you've got some kind of a relationship that establishes. You got a customer for life. I put Miranda's comment there for you to have, so you can see that was his goal for the year 2020. I put it in the chat section. I don't know if you saw it there or not. Oh, I can't hear y'all. Richard?
It's me. I'm muted because I think sometimes my computer like boosts the gain on the mic if I'm not talking, because it's trying to find my voice, and I didn't want to drown you guys out with the harp too much. Yep. So Brenda said my number one goal would be to effectuate a paradigm shift in my life vision from a personal or national orientation to a universally global one. Anybody in pain matters, nationally, sex, race, or creed, regardless in which form, to thrive in life. So I think he's basically saying he wants to go from a limited, national oriented, or like just, you know, I'm American, to, or I don't think he's American, but like in our own terms. Yeah. Or so I grew up in Georgia, so I think I earned the right to pick on us Southerners, and I live in Tennessee. But you know that I'm a Southerner, you know, versus, you know, someone from the North or whatever. Yeah. But like shedding that and realizing, I do this myself actually on a form, on almost every form that I fill out that asks for race. I look to see if they have an other, and I will check it off, and I put human, like, because I'm in the human race first. So yeah. So that's a good goal that he has about expanding his life vision out away from.
I should do that with the X button on there. I always circle yes. Throws people off. What was that? Yes. Yes, I'm married. I
mean. Shell said that she thinks we got her elevator pitch down to under a minute when we work together. So that's awesome. Shell, if you can remember it, type it in and we'll throw it up on the screen. She also said, like, Toastmasters, you know, working with Toastmasters helps you get your pitch down. And she also said, yes, she's making a spreadsheet to keep track of the leading and lagging indicators. So that's really cool. Let me see. Ken Pringle said his goal, maybe this isn't a goal, maybe he was just making this as a comment, to build the relationships you build longevity. And that's exactly the same thing that you were just saying about selling guitars. When people get the sense that you're just there not to sell them something to make.
Lost your audio. Can you hear me? Yeah, I can't hear you. Is this God's sense of humor or something? What's going on here? You made fun of Southerners, or what's it? I'm trying to make sure it's not me, but ask anybody else if they can hear you. I can't see that chat on your side. We're live, folks. We're live. I could probably try my best to read Richard's lips and try to say what he's saying. He said, hey, no way, leave me alone. I don't know what's going on. He just laughed. I need some more chicken curry. Chicken curry. His wife made an amazing chicken curry dish for dinner this evening. I'm going to go log on with my phone and make sure it's not just my computer. Shouldn't be, though. Oh, he's gone. He's probably going to log out and come back in. Ken, if you can hear me, I can't see any comments from you, but I think that when you just said build the relationships, you build longevity, I totally agree. When I was in retail business, I've had a few businesses, and the music store was my passion. I loved it, but I never wanted to be a store that was like a corporate store. I won't say the name of the big corporate music store out there, but I don't want to be a place that you have just because we've got supplies, we've got some money, and we don't care if you come in and buy stuff or not because we've got other customers behind you. I wanted to make sure that everyone that came into our store felt like they were important. I wanted them to feel like when they came into our store, they weren't just coming into a store, but it's an extension of family. It feels like it's an extension, basically extended family. And when you do something like that, you got customers for life. And I had folks that would come through our store, and of course it's a music store, so it was definitely more personal, passionate kind of a place, for people. They'd come hang around. Some folks are hanging there for a half a day, several hours, just hanging around or playing or just talking, because it was always fun. It was something to be able to do to be with each other and have a sense of community. And it was those folks that always bought stuff. Not only did they buy things, they brought people with them and talk about you all the time. So it's so important that as you build those relationships, authentically, not just doing it so you can get sales, because people can see through that really quickly when you don't have time for people and your conversations are shallow, or you're really just saying things that are more towards yourself versus them, and then that's a whole nother story. But when you are saying things that really create an opportunity, a relationship for other people, then you've got customers for life. So even when it comes down to having, we're talking earlier about communication, Shell, with things where you're able to talk to people, from stage or whatever the case may be. When you really are in a position to naturally engage with people from a perspective of them versus you, when it's the other person first in all situations, it's so much easier. That's why people that have huge followings in the most cases are definitely people that are providing value, services, information that benefits somebody else, right? There's people out there that do that all the time. And when they do it, it's because it's from the heart. It's like you find out they do interviews on these stars that maybe are really cool people that you love to follow because they're that kind of a person. And they have something from their friend Billy from when he was in the neighborhood when they were 10 years old or 20 years old, and say, yeah, this is just the way he's always been. He's always been fun to be around. He always cared for other people first, that kind of a scenario. That's an awesome way of being able to extend that to people versus trying to be phony and fake about it. There's just no way that that's beneficial at all. So yeah, I think building the relationships, you build longevity. The downside to that, to some people, is that it takes time. Some people, it's pretty easy to have fast, quick relationships with, but in most cases, it takes time to establish a good relationship. And when you are hungry, when you ain't got no money, you want stuff to come a little bit faster. And when it doesn't take that, he's back. It can be frustrating sometimes when it seems to take long. So you should go into a scenario, into a situation when you're wanting to have a relationship and build a longevity type business, to know that it's going to take effort on the front side of that, to invest the time in those people to have a relationship of longevity. You can't just expect to one and done. It's not that way. It's important to spend the time and understand. I talked about earlier, to have time on your goals, to know that if you're going to have that longevity relationship, then say, look, I need to know for my method, the way I do things, the way my program is, I need to spend a month with a person doing this. I need 2 months to do this. At 3 months, we're going to be towards this kind of a position. I mean, you can forecast everything, but when you can give yourself that kind of space and time to invest into someone, it doesn't get there's not as much pressure on you to think you're not getting anywhere with somebody. It's more important to you to be able to establish those relationships. For folks that are really focused on longevity and clients that want to spend time with you for the long haul, that comes down to somebody who's been your insurance agent for 45 years, somebody who's been your barber for all your life, right? Those different things, because they have conversations with you. They know about your life. They ask you questions that somebody you love to go see versus somebody you don't even know. So you don't even care if you walk away from them to go someplace else. We're just finishing talking about longevity. Yes, Matt, I believe in education. As you said, not selling. It takes time, but well worth it. Absolutely. So you're back. You had to get some more moonshine?
Yeah, exactly. Actually, Chrome croaked on me. It was weird. Like you were fine. My picture was fine. I could hear you. I could see me moving. But as soon as you said you couldn't hear my audio, it took it about 30 seconds, and then my video disappeared from our thing. And when I looked at Chrome, it said that the audio processor was like eating 200% of the CPU. So when I blew that away, everything started working again.
Crazy.
Yep.
Well, live and learn. Here we are.
So sorry. Yeah. I can't remember what it was that I was in the middle of saying, but
man, I went off on longevity and I forgot what you were talking about too. I'm sorry.
It's all good.
It's all good. The fact that you said North Carolina is better than Georgia. What was it? What you were saying?
Oh, that was on the nationalities, and having a bigger vision than just, you know, your locality that you came out of.
Yeah, absolutely.
Alrighty. Have you kept up with LinkedIn too?
Yeah, I am. We've got 3 people on with us right now, it says, that are live. Hey, chime in here in the comments section if you've been here for a while. We've been on for an hour and almost 19 minutes.
Yep.
So we have surpassed your expectations of 1 hour of nonstop talking. That's pretty good. On LinkedIn, folks, if you're watching along here with us today, because I know you are, I can see the numbers. Chime in the comment section, tell me who you are, why you do that. What your number one goal is 2020. 2020, isn't that crazy, Richard?
Yeah, now your audio is sounding a little flaky on my end.
I think it was because your harp got so loud on the thing. I think it sucked up the sound. Is that okay now?
Yeah, it's kind of coming and going, but I think it's good. I think it's also when you look away, but we're good. All right. I'm not getting any more comments. Shell said she could hear me clicking on her keyboard. So we may be good. Like you said, exceeded expectations. I was only expecting, I told Matt like an hour plus we would go, you know, as long as there is engagement. So it looks like we've answered all the things that were brought up, and I feel like had a really, really good discussion. So,
well, we're going to have a chance to have a replay on this one later. So for folks that are watching later, if you have any questions, they can send those in, or we can get them DM to us, or right? Yep,
absolutely. Yeah, and I will slice this video up and send it out as content. Again, for those of you that if you wanted to come on, Shell, if you want, I know what I was going to do. I was going to ask Shell if you could type in the comments what your Y pitch was.
Can she come on camera, or she doesn't?
She's been on with me before. So Shell, if you feel a little brave,
it's your chance, Shell. Do it, Shell. Come on, we're having fun. It's just us.
So Shell, the URL is at the bottom. Actually, I can post that as a comment over here, so you can just click it. Ken said, awesome, been great. Thank you both. Grace said, thank you so much. I guess they're hearing us sound like we're winding down, which is okay.
Chris Walls, the free kid, said, what's up?
What up?
What up?
What up, bro?
What up, bro?
All right. So if you want to come on, Shell, and just give us your elevator pitch. You said you wanted to practice and get yourself out there a little bit more. This is one of those opportunities. You can certainly join us.
Nothing's going to let this elevator break us down. Oh, no, let's go. Crazy. Elevator speech. Come on.
I am not seeing her yet.
Oh, no. The odd thing I was thinking about the other day about elevators is, Prince, Let's Go Crazy. Talking about nothing in the elevator going to take us down, that whole thing. He died in his elevator.
Really?
He died in his elevator at his house. Sure did. And it's
wow.
I love Prince. I thought it was cool. I love his music and everything. But I just thought it was strange that all the songs he has, things he does, talks about elevators, going up and down, these things, and then he died in his elevator at his house.
Shell's going to be on. She said, hold on, I'm trying to boot up.
Come on.
And Matt, Grace said that she'll connect with you on LinkedIn. So
I can't wait. Thanks, Grace. I look forward to it.
So I'm going to have to do a little filler right there while we're waiting on Shell to show up. When you say you can't wait, but you have to, what actually happens? I mean, like, do you go out of existence until it happens? Like, what does that mean? You can't.
I do. Wait. Like the Tasmanian devil, I spin and spin. Yeah, it goes away, and then I come back, and there she is. That is one of those statements that I should probably get away. It's like when people say, well, anyways, and they go on the next thing. There's no such English word as anyways.
Anyways.
The S is wrong. It should be anyway. Yeah. Drives me crazy now when I hear it. I used to be a radio DJ, and the guy that trained me, he was from radio in the 50s. And I got on the radio and I kept saying anyways all the time. I was from the North when I grew up, and I said anyways, and he just got on me. He says, that is not in the English language. Or did you quit saying anyways? Don't ever say anyways again. It really got me, and I became conscious of it. And now anytime somebody says anyways, I'm like, I feel like I'm him. It's like, don't say that again.
There are two that I hear all the time. One is the contraction of is. When it should be the word are. So, for example, there's 5 cars. There's 2 things you need to know. Nope, there are 2 things, because you would never say there is 2 things. There is 2 things. I mean, maybe people would say that, but but it's not proper grammar. The other one is that I hear is where you at. You just say where are you?
Yeah, where are you at? Drop the R.
And so the easy way to break both of those that I've found, since we're going to take a little grammar side course here while we're waiting on Shell to show up, is I just expand the contractions. I intentionally say where are you? Because it's the same number of syllables as where you at, or
you're right.
Where are it becomes easier. And then the other one, I've just had to listen to the improper verb conjugation.
Where you be? Where you be at? Where you be? Georgia, don't they?
Yes. Yeah. So I grew up in the South. These are things I had to work out of my.
Yeah.
Out of my.
Here, get it all around here in North Carolina. There's another town about half an hour from here, and it's called, anybody that knows Robeson County in North Carolina, they have a completely different language system than anybody else in the world. There she is. Look out, Shell.
Audio right now.
Yeah, you do. Here comes the audio.
Oh, we could hear you though. Oh, you can't hear us.
Audio is not working. Let me know if you can hear me. Give me a thumbs up because I can't hear you, which is weird.
We can hear you. I'm trying to look at some of these other formats that I can do the screen in. But that makes me look like it's all about me, and that wasn't the point.
I definitely hear you guys now. So if you can hear me, then I think we're good.
Woo-hoo.
You're living in New York, Shell?
I am in New York, yeah.
Like a New Yorker.
What is there something that a New Yorker looks like?
Look, I used to live in New York. I used to live in Watertown, Sackett's Harbor. That's upstate, and Jamestown. But there's just it's a feature that people have, and then if you get really angry or something like that, that could be the next step. But
yeah, I don't know what a new I don't know.
You're not from.
I kind of just take on like whatever area that I'm in. Like I pick up accents really easily. And just if I'm in an area or around certain people too long, even when I'm just in conversation with somebody that I talk to often, if I'm on the phone with them and they speak differently than I do, I somehow then pick up the way that they're speaking and talk that way.
Do you have an English accent?
No.
No English?
No.
Can you give me the English accent? Say, hello, Matt, how are you?
I don't think I could pick up an English accent. I have to be around people that are speaking it to be able to do it. It's not something that just happens.
Let's hear your pitch, girl.
So I empower women to restructure the way that they work so that they can work smarter, not harder, and move the needle forward to get things done and really drive home the success that they want to have.
Boom.
Yeah.
So, what things do they want to get done?
It's different for all people. I target women specifically, mid-level women in their career that are stuck, that want to get unstuck and do more things or have a new challenge or move up. I am also now thinking about niching down even further to a slightly younger audience of entry-level young women who, that way it's more like a preventative kind of thing. Instead of unsticking somebody from a current situation, I want to give people the tools to help them succeed, but that before they can even start doing the wrong things and being more productive just from the get-go of coming right out of college or going right into the workforce, whatever that looks like for them. So I'm trying to figure out right now, actually, since Richard and I spoke last, this is a new development for me to figure out which way is more marketable at this point. But overall, the message is still the same. I want to empower women to do better things and to be more productive. And for me, for a really long time, that looked like me doing all the things and being super busy and not moving the needle forward for myself. I was only moving the needle forward for other people, and that wasn't helping me at all. So it really meant that I had to reevaluate everything that I was doing. And there were so many mistakes that were simple mistakes. Had I just had somebody been like, don't do that. You're like, why are you banging your head against this wall repeatedly and you're not getting a different result? But why do you still keep doing it? So I want other women to know that before it becomes an issue. I want other women to not have to struggle and suffer like that.
Richard, you need to talk to her about the second option. That'd be really awesome. I know a lot of people that talk about the unstuck side in the marketplace. There's a lot of competition in that world, but what you just talked about, to be able to be more proactive instead of reactive, helping people not to go into that area, that's huge. I mean, it's not, because then you'd easily be able to help people that are stuck, but to reach people to not go in that area, college grads, people going through college, or people just starting in their career, whatever the case may be, how not to make these mistakes. you don't hear that as much. That would be fantastic.
Yeah, and I think that's an area that I've given it a little bit more thought in the past few days. Specifically, I don't know if you've been to my website at all or follow me on. I know we talk on LinkedIn all the time, but on Instagram I had posted for New Year's a list of women that had inspired me throughout 2019, and I gave links to things that really I connected with them on. And one of these women recently gave a TED Talk at the University of Miami, which is my alma mater. That's like, for me, that I didn't know that she was living in Miami, let alone giving a talk there. We had connected on something totally different. And then when I came across this TED Talk, I was blown away because in my mind, I was already like, all right, I want to speak at the school and connect with women that way. And then she was already inspiring me to do so many other things. It just made it that more real of like, holy shit, I want to have a TED Talk. I want to speak at the University of Miami. I want to connect with women. And she just did all of that. And like, boom, like this is like, I need to be doing this. And so that's one minor baby goal, but like that just like drove it home that it's doable. Not necessarily even that it has to be the University of Miami, but that there is an audience for it. She did a TED Talk for it. Like there is room for growth there, and there's a lot of people to reach. So just being able to see somebody that I was already admiring in that way to do something that I was just thinking about without even knowing that she was already doing it was pretty like remarkable to see that.
Yeah, and you just said something like one of your goals would be like to be able to go to University of Miami, and go do a speech there, talk that. But earlier I talked about doing bite-sized goals instead of just jumping down to University of Miami when they're going to say, we got people talking this year, we don't need you. Oh crap, So where could you start besides Could you do something like go to your local community college and see if they need people to speak in certain things? Or
I mean, I started making a list yesterday actually. I'm going to find schools that primarily are women's programs first. I think my message speaks to men too, and certainly I can help men be more productive as well. But really, women are my goal right now, and so I'm going to start there and speak to or try to speak to different women's colleges and programs, and also there's so many universities and colleges in New York City.
Yeah.
So I don't even have to leave Manhattan to do that. Like I could venture out to Brooklyn and the different boroughs if I even wanted to. And I probably do. But they're like, just that I could do this close to home. Miami would still be a nice like goal, but I don't even need to extend it that far. Like that I can make my list relatively easily.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Point proven.
Yeah.
I know I can send you some contacts. I've got 3 women that I know specifically that are high executives in the New York area and Boston, New York, Boston. And they are specifically focused on women as their niche. That's it. That's all they do is with women. And they come from a couple different perspectives as far as that's concerned, but they're a little further along in their journey, and they might be a good resource for you to talk to. So I can
that would be awesome, Matt. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Awesome.
Yeah. Do you guys have any questions for me? Is there anything that your guests? I can't see the stream, so I don't know what's going on right now. Does anybody have any questions for me that they want to ask on LinkedIn while you're there, on Facebook while you're there? At some point, we got to figure out how to connect it to Instagram at the same time. I know we were trying to do that last week, but that was a multi-platform thing.
Yeah. Were you on Facebook tonight, or were you on LinkedIn tonight?
I was on Facebook tonight. Normally, I'm on both, and I got alerted for Richard on Facebook and for you on LinkedIn, and I was like, well, which one do I click? And it was just whichever one loaded first.
Either
there's an echo if I try to do the split screen from my phone, and actually I killed my battery that way, so that's why I couldn't jump in right away from my phone. But glad I was able to join you here.
I have Saline Noor, who's an English teacher, that said hello, want to see how we're doing, just checking in. Hi, Saline. I think it's Saline. Salih. That's how I'd guess. I'm horrible with pronunciations of these names.
Yeah, it's really interesting. We were kind of winding down, and then I kind of twisted Shell's arm to get her on here. And
I was about to talk my way out of it too,
but you know what happened? It's almost like people knew that there was going to be a woman on the show and not these two old dudes, and instantly more people showed up. Like, no joke. So like if you guys are just now tuning in, we've actually been going for an hour and a half. It looks like, and we're talking about goals and focus. Oh, and I never told why I start my New Year's resolutions in June.
Yeah, in June.
Oh,
I may
yeah,
have
you
to.
didn't.
I can. Oh, hey, by the way, so Grace says Shell that she's in New York. So
Yes, we totally should.
Oh,
yeah.
Is she
You
up?
guys-
Is she city or is she upstate?
I think she said NYC earlier in the chat.
yeah, I think
feed.
she's New York City from what I remember.
Oh, yeah, it'd be easy for you guys.
So both of y'all know me. I guess I can introduce both of you on LinkedIn or something. Let me make a note to make
Yeah,
sure I get
but-
that done.
Is she in your digital brand Alchemy group? Because I can just.
Yes, I believe she
yeah.
is.
Okay.
Yep.
Grace, we can connect that way after the show. I can't see your comments right now, and I don't want to change the screen and then miss something important. I've got super like FOMO, but also shiny object syndrome. So if I switch my screen, then I'm gonna go down a loophole.
So
Sure.
Okay, so can I break in with my son? Tomorrow is Nerd Day at school.
Oh, that's awesome.
And
I'm a
this is
nerd.
my son's outfit.
the
I love it. That's awesome.
That's killer.
That's
I don't know.
hilarious.
Hey, look,
I don't know if my brother would like me saying this, but that when he was younger, my brother wore a bow tie to school quite often.
Oh my gosh.
So you know that I wore bow ties for like 4 or 5 years straight just now, right? And I just quit wearing bow ties like 6 months ago.
Did you stop? I was wondering.
Yeah.
I was wondering how come you didn't have a bow tie on anymore.
Yeah, I haven't worn them at least 6 months. Yeah, so Shell, actually on connecting,
Like my bow tie?
say again?
I'm wearing one right now.
Yeah, right. So
It's
Shell,
underneath the beard.
That's right.
on connecting with Grace, you guys are both commenting through Facebook. So I think if you go, whether it's on my personal profile, the feed, or if she's in the group commenting, the comments will be there. Y'all can click on the
absolutely.
comments and connect.
I look forward to it.
Yeah, and she even said that y'all will connect later, and she also says her daughter's a nerd. So
We've talked almost about everything today, Richard. It's been fun.
yep.
I am not a parent yet, but I'm a nerd myself, so I totally understand.
We all embrace our inner nerd.
So I'm probably more of a geek than a nerd, but yeah.
I was going to say,
Where do you draw the line?
So geeks are
More techie?
or they're like highly intellectual about one thing, maybe. This is my version, maybe not true. And nerds are more people that just don't fit in, like bad style, uncomfortable personality, it's just like socially awkward. I think that again, this is my thought on the definition.
I'm a nerd. I'm definitely a nerd. Yeah, I was that girl that was friends with everybody, but I didn't really have a core group of friends for a while because I would always make myself accessible to so many different kinds of groups. So by default, then I was an outcast in all of them because I wasn't really in any of them.
yeah, that makes
Yes, I'm awkward. Nothing wrong with that.
in a cute way. That's what she said. Awkward in a cute way to you.
All right. Well, we could probably actually do the my thoughts on New Year's resolutions and why I started
Yeah.
in June on another broadcast. Unless you guys want to go long.
No, we'll save it. That's the scarcity tactic. If you want to hear,
Yes.
if you want to hear Richard why he starts in June, you have to watch us on the next episode.
It'll be a weekly thing.
It is very weekly.
Cliffhanger.
Tune in tomorrow.
Exactly.
Well, I think we're shooting for Tuesday nights, right, Richard?
Sounds good.
I mean, hey, I mean, if you want me to jump in Tuesday nights, like towards the tail end, I could jump in too. But I'm not inviting myself to that party unless it's extended. I'm not gonna just invite myself.
Oh no, it's cool.
You're such a nerd.
Not just gonna show up.
Grace said she's got to go, and I've seen the numbers start to fall off. So as soon as I told them I'm not going to tell them about the New Year's resolutions,
They weren't. You told them not to fall for it before. Why would they fall for it now?
That's right.
So Grace is asking weekly. So yes, ma'am. So let me comment on that for just a minute to make sure it's super clear. Matt and I will probably be weekly, and we're looking at Tuesday nights. And I can host up to 6 people. So I'm happy, like Shell, if you want to come on, we just pick a topic, we talk about it. I'm like so totally cool with that. And I can actually have 3 more. So like I would love it. The guests that are watching, just like Shell, you just jumped in tonight, totally unscheduled. Like I think that's totally cool. And I'm also reaching out to other people that do live broadcasts. They're not afraid of video or whatever, who also want to build their brand, or they are already very actively building their brand to hop on. As an example, Bobby Umar replied to my email that I sent out this morning, and he said he'd like to come on. It looks like we're scheduled for Thursday the 16th. And of course, you guys also can pile on. I'll probably have to ask his permission to make sure like he's willing for the Rogues Gallery to show up, or the Peanut Gallery, like whatever we want to call it.
He and I are running the show on Thursday, so I'll ask him.
Oh, good. So and like I'm not set. I think we have Tuesday nights set. The rest of them are just going to be. I've got an online calendar built out. For anybody who wants to join on. I have an entire instruction thing. Shell, did I already have that for you? Yes.
Yeah, I audited it with you. Yeah.
Yes, thank you so much. And so I'm trying to like make a smoothed out process if people want to come on and like do a full show themselves, not just be a impromptu guest. Then they're they tell me about their business and things like that. So then I can structure the show better for them. So. Yeah. I will be doing lives on the regular. Matt and I will be doing them every Tuesday night.
And for those of you who don't know, when you go to Richard's website and fill this out, it's pretty straightforward. He's got a very intuitive list of questions that he will ask you and prompt you with to get started. It's the 3 questions that he asks right off the bat to, for people to know your why and what you're doing and what you bring to everybody. And the instructions are pretty straightforward of what you need to do in order to become a guest with him and go live. So if you haven't already checked out his site, you can check that out as well.
Oh, thanks for the plug.
Yeah. I mean, like I said last time, it doesn't always need to be about me. It's got to go both ways.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, I guess I can just go ahead and put in the comments.
My son came up with a new hairstyle just a minute ago. I had to approve of his hairstyle.
Oh,
it was for his nerd day, or
yeah, he's all into it, which means he's all into it because it's about half an hour past his bedtime.
Oh wow!
Is there a comb over?
That's what he just did, comb over.
Oh. Okay.
Oh wow!
Yeah, but he's just trying to get away. You don't have children right yet, so what's happening is my son's trying to extend the grace of bedtime by using an excuse of his outfit as a reason to stay up another half an hour late. Never had that problem, Richard.
Oh yeah,
Cool.
Only your son is the only kid ever that's thought of that one.
I know, right? Yeah, I'm blessed.
Alrighty. Matt, how can people follow up with you? We have up there mattcrump.tv. Is that the best way, or do you have a better way?
One of two ways would be mattcrump.tv, or just hit me up, DM me at LinkedIn, because I pretty much live at LinkedIn now. I'm all over the place, pretty easy to find me, but LinkedIn or mattcrump.tv.
Yep. And also Shell.
You guys can find me on LinkedIn. You can find me on Instagram at Shell Station, or you can follow me on my blog or on my website at getshelled.com.
And the Shell in all of those cases, by the way, is spelled CHELLE.
On my website is Get Shelled with an S, as in an actual shell. For everything else, it is my name, and it's a C.
Awesome.
Yeah, I know it gets a little confusing, and once you get to know me a little bit better, you'll see the connection between the shells with everything, because it's pretty intentional how everything flows.
Shell, yeah.
Oh yeah. We went from harping on things to the shells, and back again.
Yeah.
You just had to pull those strings, didn't you?
Oh.
We can get punny all day, okay?
Yep.
Yeah. It is.
Alrighty.
Bedtime.
Thank you guys so much for joining in. Thanks everyone who tuned in to watch. It's been a blast for us, and I really have enjoyed the engagement as well. And at this time, I'm going to end the broadcast. Thank you. For those of you two guys, we can keep chatting if you want.
Sounds good. Night.
Good night, Shell.